Okay, so let's talk about cleaning up the brass box once you've got the sleeve in. Well, this will be a very quick demo just to talk about that because it's super important. Your cleanup of the sleeve and where it meets the tube is extremely important to how the lid will fit it on, right? So the way I've approached this, and I'll take one that's only, that's partly done, I've actually taken a number 4 barrette file. Remember, it has a surface that's not going to cut unless you're pushing the the sharp edge here, but this is not a cutting edge. So the way I would start by cleaning up any areas with solder on it, taking off those areas and continuing around, okay? Being very careful not to angle your file across the sleeve edge because that will thin it out, right? We don't want to do that. We don't want to remove really any extra brass. Again, we don't want to compromise the fit of the lid. Okay, so coming around here, just doing barely what's necessary. Okay, so once that's completed, and you could actually, to be honest, use the number 4 first to remove a little bit of solder, and then go with the number 6 barrette file, and that really puts a nice finished surface on it as well. Okay, next I'm coming to this edge where the tube is meeting the sleeve. And I'm going to come along there, and I want to be very careful that my barrette file is not angled. Okay, I don't want to take off this this edge here. Okay, I don't want to take that edge because then you would see it would look like there's more space between the lid and this bottom of the box when it fits. So I'm going to come along here very gently. Making sure I don't angle off. If I'm angled at all, I'm angling in. Coming along. Okay, there's some excess solder here. Okay. And I'm using closer to the point as well to get in nice and sharp into the edge. But of course I don't want to dig deep into the sleeve. And coming along, okay, and continuing that way. Now, if you're noticing, if you've got any lumps of solder along here, and I did with mine, because my solder didn't flow really nice, you'll have to remove those because it won't allow for a proper fit. So you can use your saw blade, and come along like this. Tiny little strokes and turning the box at the same time. But be very careful. You don't want to cut into it. All you want to do is remove that little bit of raised bumpy solder, okay? So that's all you want to do with that. Be very, very, very careful. If this is not working for you, move away. Get rid of the saw blade. Okay, so once that area is all cleaned up, we have a nice finish here. If using the number 6 file didn't work very well, you can wrap a little, or if it's just to pre-finish it, you can just wrap one layer of emery paper around. Depending on what you need, it's the 400 or the 600 paper, and you can come along here. Okay. Coming around here, getting that nice and cleaned up. Now, when you start, you want to fit the lid actually to the piece. Okay, so we have not tried to force this on already. That can stretch it, cause problems, so we're not doing that. It's most likely that this part will, if anything is going to move out around, it would be this part, right? So if you had solder on the outside, the solder, and you're forcing the lid on, it might press this in. So don't do that until you've got this cleaned up enough so that it's worth fitting. So I've broken my edge here. But the other thing I really need to make sure that I've done is made this the correct height and made sure that it's parallel, okay? And remember, before you would have also made this tube parallel to the top edge. Okay, so we want to make sure this is parallel. If this is not parallel, then, and you've gotten a bit of an angle, when it sits down on here, it may look like there's a larger space on one part of the piece. Let me see if I can kind of fake it. Now I've been fooling around with this and fitting it and doing some things, so let me see if I can, okay. So I've got this. So this is, I'm kind of faking it here, but if it's not parallel, you may end up with a gap like this, right? And that's just something you could probably fix by filing it down, making sure it's the same height all the way around, okay?